Today, we move on with our racket reviews with the brand new Head Gravity. We've got the Tour, we've got the MP, we've just played with both. So what are the headlines, Josh?
Well, first of all, updated and improved, in my opinion, cosmetic. I think it looks much better.
Yep, it looks very, very sleek.
It's placed similarly to the old one. It's definitely an improvement. The addition of Auxetic material, which we'll get into a bit later, big improvement, but definitely still the same frame.
Yeah, and I think that it's a huge sweet spot, so it's pretty forgiving. The Tour less so, perhaps, than the MP, but still huge sweet spot, generating, for me anyway, a lot of power, not as much spin as I might like.
In summary, it's a forgiving control racket.
Let's go.
Okay, so we've just been using the new Head Gravity. This is the 2023 Auxetic version. We've been using the MP and the Tour. First of all, they're actually quite similar rackets. There's a different string pattern, 10 grams difference in the weight, but they play very similarly. So if you like a control style frame, blade, something like that, but want something a little bit more forgiving, a bit more comfortable, give you a little bit more power when needed, a good shout, a good line of rackets to try.
As advertised, big, huge sweet spot, very, very manoeuvrable. I think that was the main thing. I felt like I could really fling it around and keep a lot of control. That was especially true with the Tour. I felt like I got a little bit wild with the MP and lost a bit of that control, whereas with the Tour I felt like I could swing it around very, very manoeuvrable, but keep that control. That might be just due to the string pattern, the 1820 string pattern, as opposed to the 1620, but I found that the Tour to be much more steady, much more stable.
Overall, in comparison between the two, so the MP and the Tour, actually kind of rallying with it, didn't really notice much difference. However, when we got into playing points, really noticed kind of the change and the difference between the two different rackets. So when we got into the points, I much preferred the Tour.
Both rackets are a real all-rounder, and it's difficult to tell them apart when you're swapping between the two. It's probably worth bearing in mind, or worth noting, that between the two rackets you've got a 305 and a 295 weight, and between the two weights the differential could mean that they're almost the same weight anyway.
The Tour was certainly my favourite. I think that added slightly extra weight, gave you a bit more in your shots, and the slightly denser string pattern also helped you get a little bit of control, so it felt a little bit more stable. The MP I think will be more popular because of that open bed string pattern. Because it's 295, it's more manoeuvrable, so serving was a little bit easier with it as well. So I think those two things will certainly make the MP the mass seller. If you're a slightly stronger player, the additional weight I think will make the Tour kind of your go-to. If you play kind of flatter shots, the Gravity's great in that kind of more classic control frame, but if you do need to occasionally add spin, or you do occasionally add spin, then that bigger sweet spot and the 100 square inch head will help you do that, which is different to say a Wilson blade at the 98 square inch head, or the Babolat Pure Strike 98 square inch head. And that's why overall it's definitely a control frame, but with comfortability.
Yeah,
it's got more comfortability.
When we got into the points, I much preferred the Tour because I felt I got that control out of it. I felt I got those precision shots in comparison with the MP, where although it was good for defending, keeping the rally going, it didn't really give me that extra the Tour did. That's my preference really. I think once you can handle the control side of things and you want to get a little bit more, definitely the Tour is a little bit more preferable.
I think that you're getting a lot of difference out of the string bed, both rackets doing what they say. Big sweet spot, manoeuvrable, nice to use all around the court. Didn't love volleying with them as much, but then I think those sort of heavier, more precise rackets are better in and around the net. Just because they've got more weight through here, so they end up being more stable when those balls are fizzing in at you. As for serving, I actually preferred the MP. I could get that going a lot quicker, but both rackets are good to serve with, getting quite a lot of pop out of both rackets. The Tour is my preference because of that added control, but both really nice rackets and really worth the play test. I prefer it to the Radical, for example. I prefer it to the Speed. I feel like it just gives you a little bit more power, a little bit more control, with the same maneuverability that you get with a Radical with a Speed. Really strong rackets, recommend them. A lot more control in it than the MP.
Yeah, it's softer.
God, you're not giving me much to work off here, are you? F***ing one-word answers. So, the brand new head gravity. Here are the headlines.
It's an improvement on the last one. Only slight, but definitely improvement.
Is that it?
No.
You said you were going to go bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, that was the first bam.
Okay.
Ready for the second
Next.
bam.